Well, good morning, ladies, and happy Monday morning. I hope that you're having a great start to your day. And this morning, I just wanted to go ahead and we're just going to dive right into John chapter 20. And so I know we just came off of Easter, and I'm still kind of dwelling upon the things of the resurrection. And I wanted to take some time to really dig deep to Mary at the tomb when she is looking for Jesus. John, I'm just going to kind of set the scene a little bit. John and Peter have come to the tomb. They saw that the linen was cast aside, something that the robbers, if there were robbers, there weren't actually robbers, they wouldn't have taken time to unwrap Christ's body. They would have just taken the body, right? And so that's another sign that the linen are there, and that there are two male witnesses, which by Levitical law is stated to be a true witness. And then also that the face cloth is folded, as if, I just want you to take a moment to think about Jesus removing that face cloth and folding it up. Gives me chills every time. But so I want to turn to John chapter 20. So this is after Peter and John have then left the tomb, and Mary is still there. And so the Lord appears to her. And so we're going to pick up and read John 20 verses 11 through 16. And I just want you to take a moment to just kind of, if you're not driving or something, close your eyes and just really think about the details of this moment and Mary and just her heart posture in that moment, because it's got to be so confusing, right? She watched Jesus die on the cross, and I can't imagine the feeling of darkness and just all your hopes dashed, and you're wondering, she had demons driven out of her. She's probably wondering, is all of this going to come back? What is happening? And yeah, his body is not here, but what is being suggested is that he's alive again. It's impossible, right? And so, but she's also witnessed Christ do impossible things. So let's read John 20 verses 11 through 16. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb, and as she wept, she stopped to look into the tomb. And she saw two angels in white sitting where the body of Jesus had lain, one at the head and one at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I don't know where they have laid him." Such desperation in that moment. Having said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. So all it took was just her name, that recognition. And it reminds me that Jesus says that I will call my sheep by name. I will call them by name and they will know my voice. All he had to do was say her name and she immediately knew. And so it kind of got me wondering this morning of how we can get so caught up in trials, or we can get so caught up in maybe our daily circumstances and forget what it means to be joyful in hope. And so that's what we're going to focus on today, being joyful in hope, even when we don't understand, when we don't comprehend what it is that God is doing. And so so it's funny because I was reading this morning, and then I went to reach for my prayer journal, and I actually knocked over this little sign. It's this little tiny square sign that I have. I think I bought it at Target like 10, 15 years ago. And it's just this little gold sign, and on it is just written the word joy. And so I knocked it off, and it fell kind of back in a corner where I didn't have time to reach for it. But it kind of got me wondering, as a little simple illustration of, have you dropped your joy? Have you not picked up your joy in whatever circumstances you're in? Because the word says that we can be joyful even though we are in trials. We can be joyful because of the hope that we have in Christ. And so we just came off of this high from Easter, and all these recognitions of the wonders of the cross and everything. And I don't want us to forget that. I don't want us to forget to just, blow right past Easter to just, okay, we did it. We celebrated. I had my best dress on, and we got all the pictures. We had family time and all those things. I don't want us to forget. I want us to remember the joy of the cross, even if you are in maybe one of the most difficult seasons of your life, or if things are just not going according to plan. A lot of times that we can fall into, and I'm talking to myself with this, fall into seasons of just not hopelessness, but just I don't really have a word for it, where you're just not excited about anything simply because you have unmet expectations, or because things are not going according to the plan that you had put in your mind. And so I just want you to remember to instead, like Mary, Mary had a whole plan. She was going to, embalm Christ's body. She wanted to make sure she knew where he was. And yet God had a completely different plan, one that was so hopeful, so joyful, so wonderful that she couldn't even comprehend, because sometimes our brains can't comprehend. And so I want you to take the time. I want you to think about, what is it that is keeping you from being joyful? What is it that is keeping you from remembering to be hopeful? And so I want you to lay that down today, which is easier said than done, but I also want us to look to Romans 12. And so Romans 12, 9 through a bunch of verses. We're just going to read 9 through 12. And it says, I love in my Bible, it has on the top, like the title, the subject matter, basically, it says marks of the true Christian. And it says, let love be genuine, abhor what is evil, hold fast to what is good, love one another with brotherly affection, outdo one another in showing honor, do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. And then here comes the kicker. So this is a mark of a true Christian. Rejoice in hope. Be joyful in hope. Be patient in tribulation. Be constant in prayer. So be joyful in hope. Be patient in trials. Be constant in prayer. And so I want you to take a few moments right now, and I want you to sit and pray and ask God to restore your joy, to pick that sign up off the floor and put it back on the table to remind yourself of joy, that there is joy and hope in the Lord always. And like Mary, maybe all it takes is just remembering that Jesus knows you by name. Jesus himself knows you by name, and you are one of his sheep, and you know his voice. So take that today, regardless of circumstances, and knowing that there is joy because Jesus knows you by name. So be hopeful in that today. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day.